It has somewhat occurred to me before, but thinking about it more, it could be argued that Tesla already has two car brands, kind of like how Nike has Nike and has Jordan. It would mean that Tesla can create that much more demand using two brands of EVs rather than just one, for consumers that want something different. And I do mean different. What have Tesla done? Well, being Tesla, it's obviously something clever. Sure, if you want more variety of an EV now, other than Tesla's very limited offering, you have to look towards the other various manufacturers' offerings, and I'm just talking about looks. Although they are all relatively similar, I mean, there's nothing overly different about a Mustang Mach-E from a Model Y. It's simply a wannabe Model Y that isn't as good in every way, but it's not really that different. Okay, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is a bit different looking, but will likely date over time, and of course is no match for Tesla in range, performance or price. So what if you want something really different and outrageous, and were willing to pay a bit more for it? Well, how about a whole other line of Tesla vehicles? And sure, there could be a coupe, sedan, SUV version of them too, but rather than just looking a little different from the regular design Tesla, how about outrageously different? Have you worked out what they'll be yet? Well, how about Tesla eventually offer an entire cyber range of EVs? I've seen renders of what a cyber coupe would look like, and I've got to say, a performance version of that with 0 to 60 around mid 2 seconds has got to be possibly my ultimate car, and perhaps at a price point of around $80,000, i.e. somewhat affordable compared to the price point of a Roadster at least. Remember, Cybertruck comes with other features like no rust, bulletproof exterior, solid exoskeleton that you won't dent, toughened glass. I mean, that's a cool feeling to be driving around, feeling so solid and protected. I'm sure it's hardly necessary, but that's not what marketing is about. It's about making the consumer feeling good, creating the experience of feeling invincible in your car. So if Tesla plan on building demand for 40 million or so vehicles a year, sure, twice the number that we hope to hit later this decade, and a number never mentioned by Tesla themselves, but in case you couldn't tell, by this stage, if we're going to transition off fossil fuels, well, it's mainly going to come down to Tesla. No one else is going to come close to ramping up enough batteries, and at the end of the day, it's who has the most batteries wins, more or less. Of course, it also helps that said batteries have the best energy density and are the lowest cost of production. Yeah, don't forget that Tesla are still not using their 4680 batteries in their vehicles, and we haven't seen the specifications of a 4680 Model Y yet. I think I'll keep saying this in more videos to make out like it's a big deal or something. I think within time, perhaps past the middle of the decade, as we start approaching a much higher adoption of EVs, perhaps over half in most developed nations, then Tesla is likely to control about 75% of the global EV battery supply. Of course, they'll have more batteries in addition to that for their energy business, but their battery production lines, 4680 and LFP, are just going to be rinse and repeat and repeat and repeat. From the machine that makes the machine, a machine that makes the battery making machines, that is what is required. Yes, I'm sure there are a lot of engineers and specialists required to set up a 4680 line still, but we are still at early stages. These battery lines will become a lot easier, lower cost and faster to set up in the future. Alright, then maybe Tesla will have the capacity to manufacture 40 million or so vehicles a year, and despite the global demand being 70 to 80 billion a year, I think that might also change somewhat, as people might be buying cars because they want electric rather than just because it's time to buy a new car. I think people also who would not have previously bought a brand new car might now be willing to, especially if they're only $25,000 and cost much less to run than their ICE car. And especially again if they want something that drives themselves. And there is no choice in the used market. Sound unbelievable? It is literally what I did. I would say that I have a pretty good financial education, enough to realize that buying a brand new car is what can be regarded as somewhat a waste of money. Yet I bought a brand new Tesla. Anyway, back to the point. What if Tesla only had 10 or so vehicles that look similar to how they do now? I mean, the S3, XY models all have a similar distinctive look and feel. You can tell they're all a Tesla, but the Cybertruck resembles absolutely nothing of the sort. It's entirely on its own unique look and feel. So for consumers that want something different, well, there could be an entire cyber range of models. And if you think it's hard enough for the competition to copy Tesla with the cars they offer now, then can you imagine how much harder it's going to be to compete with more SpaceX-infused technology? The competition can't come close to Tesla as it is, let alone Tesla in association with SpaceX. This could be what will facilitate Tesla in creating that much more demand for their cars. You have the regular Tesla range, then you have the cyber range of cars. And I bet the cyber range create even more gross margin on their vehicles. Like I said, my dream car would be a cyber coupe. Of course, Tesla being Tesla, they may come up with some other original concept too, but maybe 2 brands of vehicle are enough. One for the typical consumer and one for those who dare to be different and stand out from the others. I continually say it would be boring if everyone had Teslas, but if they were at least mixed up with an entire cyber offering, then that would be something else. The other option, of course, as we have discussed a few times before, would be Tesla opening up their entire platform to anyone who wanted it. If consumers crave more variety in vehicles, then Tesla could offer their skateboard, similar to what BYD is selling to Toyota. I'm guessing it would be along the lines of the battery pack, powertrain, motors, software, sensors, cameras, and the entire operating system of the in-cabin screen. Perhaps Tesla would simply offer 3 different sizes, and then the other EV companies can use that as a platform to build whatever style of car they wish, in their way to separate themselves from Tesla. This wouldn't necessarily mean that Volkswagen or someone build all their cars on the Tesla platform. I'm not even sure how well legacy brands are going to carry in the future. It could be open to all sorts of brands. As the major technical and engineering side is taken care of, the rest is a lot easier. We could really think outside the box here, like maybe Nike could have a sports car brand, perhaps Giorgio Armani could have a luxury vehicle brand. Elon doesn't like barriers to entry, he likes competition to thrive, but he's created some serious hurdles for everyone. He talks about how he doesn't like walled gardens and has opened up the patents. If he helps them all around all the hurdles, then it opens up competition to a whole other level. And we end up going from the possibility of everyone driving similar looking cars to everyone having something very unique and personal to them where they can really express their individualism. This could be the way to go. There's no one coming close to catching up Tesla. In fact, Tesla keep pulling away further and further. But when Tesla start their own in-house batteries, that's the end. Tesla will ramp up these batteries on a vastly higher exponential level than everyone else and quickly become the largest battery manufacturer in the world, possibly overtaking CATL by around 2025. And CATL aren't exactly standing still either. Tesla want to transition the world off ICE cars to electric. They want to do this as soon as possible. All other BEV manufacturers combined are going to have to go to tremendous effort to accomplish about half as many as Tesla are producing. Don't get distracted by the Chinese statistics. Most of those are micro EVs replacing modes of transport like bicycles, not legacy auto EVs. Ignore statistics. They explain nothing. 69% of people know this. If Tesla want enough demand to do this, then mixing it up with a cyber range and perhaps a few other items in the mix, then they'll generate enough demand for their vehicles. On the other hand, Tesla's tech could just be that good that that's mainly what they want anyway. The fact the car drives itself. It might just be a much bigger deal than how it looks. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.